So, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. And wow, wow. Well, here's the thing Monday. I woke up this morning and I was thinking about, I don't know, I think about a lot of stuff when I wake up in the morning and I release all the excess. I just had my period, and that's been an age old issue that I've been dealing with. Like, my whole initial reason to be on the J juice was of premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which is basically PMS on steroids. And so it really got in the way of my life. I mean, it really messed with all my different hormone levels, of which then manifested into some crazy behaviors. Nothing like criminal, but I would say that I could feel the major fluctuations. And some women feel like they're going crazy when their hormone levels are so out of whack because of an imbalance in their biochemistry. And so, who do I blame that on? I don't blame it on anybody when I think about it, because reproduction comes from imbalances. And so, right now, every child out there has come from an environment of imbalance within the uterus of their mother, as well as the external environment in the family. Even though, yeah, some families are very peaceful, they still deal with cancer, disease, and chronic illness. That's still in the genetics. There's already a programming that the body's going to die because it already has imbalances. Okay? So that's the very nature of reproduction. So then it hit me this morning because I was watching I was watching some sci-fi thriller on a virus, on Netflix, or maybe it was on some other, no, it was on Netflix, where there's a virus in the environment and it only targets females and all that. And I'm just watching all the scientific, science fiction thrillers and stuff. And it like that movie Splice, I forgot the name of it, on Netflix. It's a good movie about watching, well, it's mad scientists putting together an alien slash human type and then trying to keep it captive. And it goes through an evolution process, like a very fast evolution process, and it ends up killing and doing harmful things. So anyways, so I've been watching that stuff lately and watching, how biotech translates into the entertainment industry. And you learn a lot from doing that. But I realized that the reason why we have vaccines, we wouldn't need vaccines if men and women didn't pollute the women's uterus. How do you pollute a woman's uterus? Because her uterus is an evolving environment. It is like Earth. Okay, a woman's uterus is like Earth, and when there's imbalances in that Earth, it manifests in some really some type of biodiversity that comes out. And you see all the different biodiversity that comes out of women's uteruses, right? I mean, just look at the world around you. So, because I always think, I know that in my book I do talk about the four seasons, and that's how I see, the four seasons. Reproduction, like life, death, and reproduction is like the four seasons. I mean, when you look at it, some are all year round, and yes, these plants, like in Hawaii, they do carry seeds, but they don't drop them. And if they do, and there might be some that do drop them, but why they drop them is because there is a threatening of the extinction of that plant, whether it could be a human walking past, destroying the environment, or it's the weather that's causing an influx in the environment, and then the plant has to drop seeds so that way the next spring they'll be able to germinate and then grow some more plants. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why seeds are out there. Seeds are it's an insurance policy against extinction. And so I'm thinking, like, okay, so I know that. And then my theory was that, eventually when the body is 100% perfect, but it's not just 100% perfect in the body is always going to be evolving to the environment. Well, the environment is still very, very aggressive. I mean, I've been noticing that my period, even though I don't feel it 2 weeks before like I used to, and have all these different crazy symptoms, I feel actually tired, really. That's the only really issues. I feel a bit tired, maybe a tiny bit irritable, but not that much. But really, I don't know until I don't know when I'm gonna get my period until the day of, until the day of, and I'm feeling sick that day. Like this weekend, I was on my period and I felt sick this weekend, and it was weird because this is another mutation of the COVID, and so I noticed that every single time there's a mutation of the COVID, I feel it on my freaking period. I feel it. You know why? Because it's an evolution. See, the reason why women need vaccines and why kids need vaccines, because women and men, because they both learn from each other, they take pills, powders, supplements, detoxes, anything to stop the real true evolution process. And so the only way a baby can adapt to this environment once they reach out here, because the mother has basically taken down the evolutionary process within her uterus when she's taken all the different whatever she's done to take for pain and all that stuff. And they say that, oh, you shouldn't take this, you shouldn't take that, you shouldn't take that. Women do all these natural remedies when they're pregnant. I mean, they're taking all these different pills and powders and all these different who knows what. I mean, ask a woman who's been pregnant in the allopathic and the holistic world, because they both do the same thing. And so when a baby is born in this world, now they're exposed to like a whole environment, not just a mother's environment. Now they're born to a whole environment, so many different people, and viruses are mutating on a constant basis. Yes, there's a reason why the viruses are mutating, because people are passing sickness along and nobody's really that well. Everybody's dying out there, just at different rates. And so the baby has to be able to adapt, and that's why they give vaccines, or babies will die. But obviously you're seeing that there's, sometimes there's no point in return for a baby, no matter what. So a vaccine or no vaccine, the baby's going to die anyways. But the reason why vaccines exist is because a mother has failed to let her body evolve to the maximum level. And so I'm thinking, like, why is my period so hard? And I'm like, I'm great every single time in between, but just the day of my period now, it's like, oh my God, I feel like I'm sick. And it's because it's an evolution process. Sickness is evolution. That makes sense. And this is why, if you don't feel, like some women say, like, well, there's two people, there's like two kids, one vaccine, one will feel the evolution process, the other one doesn't, which is the pain process, whatever. And the reason why is maybe one's already adapted, or there's latent evolution, that's not going to happen until later on down the road, and the body then has to adapt again. So, sickness is an evolution, but people don't know how to support their body correctly to handle the sickness. And so it makes sense now. If we wouldn't need vaccines if women allowed their body to evolve. If they stopped taking the cannabis, if they stopped taking the pills and the powders and the supplements and the detoxes and the painkillers and all the different things, we wouldn't need vaccines if women and men allowed their bodies to evolve and supported it correctly. Because what would happen if everyone was 100% well? Right now, I feel great. I mean, yeah, I'm just like a day after my period, 3 days after my period, my first initial start. I really have no need to procreate, though. My husband likes to shake the tree, and so fine, shake the tree, but we're not having a baby. But hey, if you're gonna do it, it might happen. Who knows? But he's pretty careful. That's all I'm gonna say on that. But that's the thing, is that even though I have no desire to have a child, I have no really desire to really go and be a bunny, whatever. The insurance policy is there in case the environment is that aggressive. Okay, so when people have those feelings of whatever, those feelings of wanting to procreate, regardless if that's your intention, it's the body trying to carry the body forward because there's imbalances in the body, mind, and spirit. Okay, and so I get that. See, here's the thing: infinite concentric circles. The uterus is a representation of the external microbiome. Your uterus is a microbiome. Your gut is a microbiome. Your uterus has to evolve. It is an ecosystem. It has to evolve with the rest of the environment. And so this is why some women have very hard periods. Some women have diseases in their uterus, like endometriosis. Okay? It's because of the uterus is trying to evolve, and she's not giving it what it needs. And so This is why some women have very high risk pregnancies, because they have not allowed their uterus to evolve to the current levels, to the current conditions of the environment. And so yes, it's going through a major evolution process, and then women go and get painkillers and they try to stop the pain and they do all these different things. And that's why, you know, the prostaglandins exist, because that's the evolution process, and that's in the prostate of the male. And then we're suppressing prostaglandins, so the war on the male is very much alive. And then it's being suppressed in females as well as males too, because no one wants to feel pain. Everyone wants to be freaking anesthetized. And so this is why we have vaccines. This is why we have biotech. This is why we have so many different things. And so it's a never-ending vicious cycle. So I finally figured it out. Until 7 billion people calm the F down, until the environment calms the F down, okay, I'm going to keep continuing to evolve, and so will my uterus. So I will continue to be a reflection of my environment. I will notice a change in the environment because of my period as well as my body. Like, I'm the canary in the coal mine, because I will not anesthetize myself because I am afraid of pain or evolving. And pain is evolution. Some people are afraid to evolve, and so they will try to stop it at every gateway that there is. And then that's why people don't expand, they don't evolve. That's why people are like almost like Neanderthals. All right? Because they have not evolved. And that's pretty crazy. All right, that's it. That's all I got to say. Just take it for what it is. Bye.